Arguing is essential in human communication, but unlike that family Christmas where whoever shouts the loudest wins Monopoly, an academic argument must be rooted in a set of premises which lead logically to a conclusion and be backed up by evidence. I'm Jack from Proofed. In this video, we're going to highlight two different types of argument and provide a clear step-by-step breakdown of how to structure your argument in an academic essay. So let's get to work. What's a premise? A premise is any statement that you hold to be true, and a premise forms the basis of your argument. What's a conclusion? A conclusion is a final position that follows the truth of the premises you lay out in your argument. Step 1. Types of argument. Part of knowing how to present a really strong argument in an academic essay is deciding what type of argument you're going to make. The two types of argument we will unpack in this video are inductive and deductive. Now, there are some important differences between the two of them, so let's break them down. Inductive arguments are formed of observations which are then analysed before presenting a theory. For example, if I say, every time I eat peanuts, I start to cough. Coughing, that's a symptom of a peanut allergy. Therefore, I must be allergic to peanuts. Wait, am I allergic to peanuts? Not quite. You see, the conclusion of the inductive argument here is only a theory based on a singular observation and an analysis which is rooted in a generalization that coughing when eating peanuts must be a symptom of a peanut allergy. This isn't necessarily true and isn't based on empirical evidence. Therefore, the inductive argument can be disputed. On the other hand, deductive arguments are based on an idea or hypothesis supported by direct observations which lead to a logical conclusion. Let me give you an example to show you what I mean. All men are mortal, Aristotle is a man, therefore Aristotle must be mortal. You cannot dispute the conclusion of a deductive argument if you accept the premises. This makes the argument valid because the conclusion follows the truth of its premises. Now that we know which type of argument we're going to use, let's look at step 2. Establish your argument. Establishing what your argument is going to be depends on the question that you're trying to address. If you're going to make the argument that Aristotle is in fact mortal, then you need to set up the basis of this argument with our third step. Step 3. Outline the premises. In the case of our example argument, Aristotle is a man is one of our premises. All men are mortal is the second of our premises. Step 4. Review the evidence. Our first premise, Aristotle is a man, could be supported with empirical evidence, in this case, historical records of Aristotle's birth and life. Our second premise, all men are mortal, could again be supported with empirical evidence, scientific records in this instance, showing that, as far as we're aware, no human being has yet to achieve immortality and live beyond death. Citing a reference from a reputable academic source is essential to support the validity of your argument. Step 5. Critically analyze. Providing a critical analysis of each piece of evidence supporting our premises allows us to strengthen the argument. By critically analysing your own argument, you are preempting possible counter-arguments and testing the validity of the evidence that supports your overall argument. This will show the reader that you are not simply putting forward an argument you believe to be true, but instead that you've researched the topic, considered evidence on all sides, and drawn the most logical conclusion before presenting your argument. Finally, step 6 is to draw the conclusion. Our conclusion needs to consider each piece of evidence we've presented to support our premises and provide links between each point of our argument to lead to a logical conclusion. If by this point you haven't been able to convince the reader, it may be that they are beyond convincing, but you will have constructed a great argument and submitted a strong essay, and that is how we get the grades we're chasing. Before we finish, let's double check everything with a recap. Step 1, select the type of argument you're going to make. Step 2, establish the argument. Step 3, outline the premises. Step 4, review the evidence. Step 5, critically analyze. And finally, draw a logical conclusion. Remember, proofreading is the best way to ensure that your message is communicated in a clear, concise, and correct manner without the inclusion of distracting errors. Whether you ask a friend, colleague, or professional agency, remember to have your work proofread before submitting it. Now you have 6 clear steps to establish, construct, and deliver your argument in an academic essay. If there's anything you're unsure about, remember we've linked all the resources in the description below, and feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments. We post these videos every week, focusing on different fundamentals of writing, communication, and content creation, helping you to unlock your best work. Your writing proof.